Hey everyone, if you love epic comeback stories that hit harder than a plot twist in your favorite series, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's next. My name is Ashley Carter, 32, and until this morning, I was Chief Operating Officer of Carter Riverfront Logistics. The boardroom door hadn't even clicked shut behind me when my brother's voice cut through the air. We don't need someone living off legacy, Ashley. Tyler, 25, fresh MBA, Rolex glinting under the Memphis sun streaming through the 12th floor windows, didn't wait for anyone to speak. He pointed straight at me. Clear your office by tomorrow. Our father, the CEO, sat motionless at the head of the table. Last year, he had quietly transferred his voting shares to Tyler. I had kept delivering results, so nobody questioned it until now. The three outside directors stared at their laptops. No one blinked. I nodded once, stood and walked out. The next morning, 7:15 a.m., I swiped my badge at the executive elevator and rode to the 15th floor in silence. The doors opened with a soft chime, and the motion lights flicked on ahead of me, guiding the way to the glass entrance of my corner office. I pushed through. The door closed behind me with a quiet hiss. Madison, my assistant for the past 7 years, was already inside. She sat on the edge of the reception desk, holding a steaming coffee in one hand and her phone in the other. Ashley, your brother has completely lost it. You personally built nearly 40% of the high-margin lease portfolio, the real money maker, starting when you were just 24. He can't erase 10 years of work with one boardroom tantrum. I didn't answer right away. I walked across the open space, heels quiet on the polished concrete floor. At the far end, I knelt beside the sleek credenza and pressed my thumb to the biometric scanner hidden in the wall safe. The panel unlocked with a soft click and slid open. Inside was one thick red expandable folder, corners worn from years of use. The label was written in my own neat block letters. I pulled it out and laid it flat on the big desk. Carter Warehouse Advisors LLC, I said, flipping it open to the stamped incorporation papers from exactly 4 years ago. I set this company up as a tax-efficient entity to hold leases that crossed state lines. Every major contract names it as the actual landlord, completely separate from the main operating company. Madison stepped closer and looked over my shoulder at the dense pages. The board reviewed and approved every single amendment. They initialed every rider. They were so focused on the tax benefits and depreciation perks that nobody ever asked who really controlled the entity at the top. I turned to the portfolio summary. 23 active leases, almost 5 million square feet under management. Current annual revenue run rate, $28.4 million, growing at 9.3% compound for the last 6 quarters. Madison let out a slow breath. That's the profit lifeline of the entire company. Exactly. I closed the folder, slipped it into the slim carbon fiber briefcase waiting on the chair, and clicked the locks shut. And now that lifeline belongs to someone else. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling window, hands in her pockets, watching a long towboat push 3 loaded barges south against the current. The big renewal cycle starts in 90 days. Apex, Covenant, Delta, they all depend on your routing tables and optimization models. They won't sign blind. They'll get full confirmation, I said. I spun the safe dial several times until the bolts locked, then slipped the override key into my inside blazer pocket. Same algorithms, just under a different landlord. Madison turned to face me. You're activating the full contingency plan. It activated the moment Dad signed over voting control last year. I just built the release trigger ahead of time. She nodded, taking it in. I grabbed my coat from the wall hook. I glanced at the clock, 7:29 exactly. Tell facilities I'll be completely out by 11. 1 briefcase. No boxes, no movers. Madison paused in the doorway. Ashley, your parents. Parents don't sign freight commitments, I said, stepping past her into the bright hallway. Shippers and tenants do. The elevator arrived instantly. I pressed G for garage. The ride down was smooth and quiet. Security gave me a casual wave as I walked through the lobby, no badge scan needed to leave. I crossed the covered plaza, went down the ramp, and found my sedan in executive spot C4. I set the briefcase on the passenger seat, started the engine, and backed out. The headquarters tower shrank in my rearview mirror as I merged onto Riverside Drive, the Mississippi sparkling on my left, calm, wide, and ancient. I had spent 10 years building the family fortress. Now every drop of water inside it flowed wherever I directed. That same afternoon, I was cruising east on I-240 when the dashboard flashed, office landline forwarded to the car. I accepted the call. Ashley Carter, Craig Brooks, Apex Warehousing. Forklifts and pallet jacks echoed in the background. Tyler just sent an email saying he's the new contact. Our master lease hits the 60-day renewal window. We locked in 18% savings with your algorithms. What the hell is going on? He'll figure it out soon enough, I said. I'm sending the renewal package to the real landlord before close of business. Sending now, I added. The line went dead. 9 minutes later, my phone buzzed, CEO direct line. I answered. Ashley, what is this? Tyler's voice was already loud and climbing. Craig won't extend without the original docs. 4 years ago, I rebuilt the entire leasing structure, I said, easing into the exit lane. Carter Warehouse Advisors is the dedicated landlord, separate entity, tax advantages, liability shield. Dad initialed every page. Nobody thought it could run independently. Guess what it can. You can't possibly. I ended the call, took the downtown exit, looped back, and parked on level 3 of the visitor deck. One last trip to the 15th floor. The hallway was empty. I opened the office door. The brass nameplate still read Ashley Carter, Carter Riverfront Logistics. I took a small screwdriver from the drawer, removed the plate, and let it drop into the trash box with a clang. Laptop wiped, cables disconnected, cabinets empty. I pulled the door shut. The lock clicked one final time. 2 days later, Wednesday evening, my front door camera pinged. The first SUV rolled up the driveway. I opened the door to Ryan, my project manager of 10 years, followed by 6 others with laptops and rolled blueprints. Core team assembled, Ryan said, stepping inside. Non-compete only covers Tennessee accounts. Arkansas and Mississippi are wide open. I led them to the living room, sectional pushed back, folding chairs around the coffee table. Quick introductions, 3 operations leads, 2 data analysts, 1 compliance specialist, all resigned that morning. Lauren, my old college roommate and now our M&A attorney, arrived last with fresh documents. We took seats. I connected my laptop to the big screen and opened the pitch deck for Carter Warehouse Advisors. Goal: prove the model works at scale without the old family name. 2 pilot warehouses ready in Little Rock and Jackson, 600,000 square feet total, 6-month leases with purchase options, rents locked 15% below market. Equipment budgeted, software already migrated to the cloud. Compensation: 15% raises across the board, 1% equity day 1, full medical, and 6% 401k match. Timeline: occupancy in 30 days, first loads in 45. Everyone nodded. Lauren passed blue pens. We signed the operating agreement, then individual offer letters. Handshakes went around the table. By 8:17 p.m., the driveway was empty again. Phase 1 complete. 1 week later, Madison zoomed me from home. Emergency board meeting in 1 hour. Only agenda item is you. They expect you downtown. Decline, I said. Calendars blocked. The house phone rang. Mom. I let it ring 4 times before picking up. Ashkin's sweetheart, Mom's soft drawl. Your dad wants you to come talk, not as an employee, as his daughter. Tell him I'm in a critical negotiation. I hung up, went back to finalizing the Baton Rouge expansion, another 1,000,001 square feet, 22% projected IRR. By 10:51 a.m., that deal was signed too. 0 missed calls from the board. 3 weeks later, I took the stage at the Memphis Warehousing Symposium under a crisp Carter Advisors banner. Craig Brooks from Apex introduced me, then we signed a $20 million, 3-year national contract right in front of 500 people. Phones flashed like lightning. By afternoon, my team had moved into our new 8th-floor headquarters in East Memphis, floor-to-ceiling river views, 20 workstations, war room with live dashboards. The vendor list now showed old Carter Riverfront Logistics as nothing more than an overflow subcontractor. 2 months after that, I met Mom for lunch at the Peabody. She stood when she saw me, pearls shifting against her silk blouse, iced tea already poured. "We owe you an apology," she said quietly. "The vote was rushed. Your brother didn't understand what he was breaking. Please come to Sunday dinner, just family." I signed the check, stood, and smiled politely. "I'm still a Carter, Mom, just not the version you thought you had." I walked out past the Duck March without looking back. 6 months later, our war room screens glowed green. Carter Apex Solutions, the new national brand, posted $18 million in trailing 12-month revenue, up 41% quarter over quarter. Ryan slid the latest P&L across the table. I signed it. Lauren walked in with news. The old company had just announced a 30% headcount cut. Stock down 11%. Tyler stepping down as CEO. I looked out at the wide brown river rolling past the window. 18 million in new revenue on our side. 212 people out of work on theirs. My brother sidelined. Loyalty has value only when it's earned. The river kept moving.